President Trump and his summit with Vladimir Putin, and while on the world stage with Putin standing right beside him, President Trump was asked, who do you believe more, Russia or your own U.S. intelligence officials? And it was how the president answered that question that sent shockwaves around the world, the president clearly appearing to choose Putin. The question came after their face-to-face meeting just days after the U.S. indicted 12 Russian intelligence officials by name for systematically targeting hundreds of Americans working with the DNC or with Hillary Clinton's campaign. The president and Putin just themselves meeting for 2 hours, longer than expected. Only their translators were right there in the room with them. Tonight, what did they discuss, and what Vladimir Putin was asked as well? Does he have compromising material on President Trump? ABC's Terry Moran leading us off tonight right here in Helsinki.
The summit, like no other, began like this. The two leaders approaching across a room, shaking hands, then photos, and President Trump smiles. Putin does not. As they began their one-on-one meeting, both seemed solemn at first, even a tad nervous. Then Putin leaning back at ease. The president spoke.
It's great to be with you.
And then they were alone for more than 2 hours. Later, the press conference with Putin standing right there. An American reporter asked Trump about Russia's attack on our elections.
Mr. President, you tweeted this morning that it's U.S. foolishness, stupidity, and the Mueller probe that is responsible for the decline in U.S. relations with Russia. Do you hold Russia at all accountable for anything in particular?
Yes, I do. I hold both countries responsible. I think that the United States has been foolish. I think we've all been foolish, and I think we're all to blame. I think that the probe is a disaster for our country. I think it's kept us apart. It's kept us separated. There was no collusion at all. Everybody knows it. People are being brought out to the fore. So far that I know, virtually none of it related to the campaign.
The campaign, that's clearly what gets the president going. Any suggestion that Russia helped him win.
We ran a brilliant campaign, and that's why I'm president.
Then from Putin, asked why Americans should believe him when U.S. intelligence agencies hold him accountable. A classic Putin response. Who to believe, who not to believe, he said. And can you believe it all? You can't believe anyone. Where did you get this idea that President Trump trusts me and that I completely trust him? We should be guided by facts, he continued. Can you name a single fact that proves collusion? This is utter nonsense. As for the 12 members of his own government just indicted for attacking the 2016 election, Putin made an offer. Let Russian authorities question them. Special counsel Robert Mueller's team can come watch. We can allow them into the country, Putin said. They will be present at questioning. But he added a condition. Russia must be allowed to interrogate American intelligence agents. The president sounded delighted.
What he did is an incredible offer. He offered to have the people working on the case come and work with their investigators with respect to the 12 people. I think that's an incredible offer. Okay? Thank you.
Finally, President Trump was asked to choose. Who does he believe, Putin or his own intelligence agencies?
President Putin denied having anything to do with the election interference in 2016. Every U.S. intelligence agency has concluded that Russia did. Who do you believe?
My people came to me, Dan Coates came to me, and some others. They said they think it's Russia. I have President Putin. He just said it's not Russia. I will say this. I don't see any reason why it would be. So I have great confidence in my intelligence people, but I will tell you that President Putin was extremely strong and powerful in his denial today.
And Putin was asked point blank.
President Putin, did you want President Trump to win the election?
Yes, I did. Yes, Putin said. I wanted him to win because he was talking about the normalization of Russo-American relations. Finally, a question about blackmail.
Does the Russian government have any compromising material on President Trump or his family?
Putin brusquely waved off the question by saying only that he personally hasn't known Trump for very long. I heard about that we had allegedly collected compromising materials on Mr. Trump when he came to Moscow. Respected colleagues, when Mr. Trump came to Moscow, I didn't even know he was there. As for President Trump, he laughed it all off, but then ended the press conference with a tirade denouncing the FBI agent Peter Strzok, who forcefully defended the collusion investigation before Congress last week.
It was a disgrace to our country. and you would say that was a total witch hunt. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
Terry Moran right here with us in Helsinki tonight. And Terry, President Trump and Vladimir Putin, of course, meeting behind closed doors for 2 hours, as we said, with just their translators. Will we ever get a readout of what was said in that room?
No, David, not a formal readout systematically covering the topics discussed. The two leaders did outline what their talks were about, but we won't know the details.
And you know, Terry, a question on how this is really being seen, not just at home, but really around the world. I wanted to show everyone at home tonight. This was the BBC today, and here was the headline. It says, Trump sides with Russia against FBI. What kind of message, Terry, does this send around the world?
The message, David, is that the world needs to adjust to a hard fact of life, that this president has decided to shift American foreign policy decidedly away from the traditional allies, the Western democracies, and get closer to Moscow and the Kremlin.